All right, we're recording. So it's the last week of March already. We have a couple days left to end the month. So tonight, me and Amber and Shannon and Samantha and Ashley are all going to share, just some recent struggles and how we've overcome them. Because I want you all to know, I think it's important that you all know that every single one of us as coaches go through struggles. We go through the highs, the hilltops, and we all go through the valleys. It's completely, absolutely normal. We lose rank, right? We set goals and we miss them. It happens to everybody. We shoot for Success Club. It doesn't happen. We lose our motivation, so our mojo. We absolutely lose it. We're not all running around at all times, highly motivated and ready to work out every single day. We deal with objections, we deal with rejection, and the truth is we probably deal with it more because the more people you talk to, the more no's you get. The more people you invite, the more people who are going to ignore you or not be ready or say no or not right now. So we probably deal with it more. So we go through the same exact things as you do, and we want you to know that it is absolutely completely normal. We're all normal humans. Most of us are moms. Probably almost every single one of you are here, and we're all striving to reach our goals. So I'm super excited. This year, it's amazing. Amazing things have happened. We together have helped hundreds, but I know that we together can help thousands and thousands more. So I'm excited to come together, dig in deep, and go. So with that, I'm just going to jump right in and share my own. So we all kind of like lightly laughed when I brought up the topic. I said, let's share our struggles and how we overcome. And we're all like, let me count the ways. Let me pick which one, because there's so many. We've all, gone through them together and overcome them. So for me, I'm going to lightly talk about overthinking as well as focusing on what you cannot control versus focusing on what you can control. So activity plus belief generates results in this business. I'll say it again. Activity, the vitals every day, plus your belief in yourself, belief in the company, belief in honestly, truly what you're doing, that's going to produce the results every day. So overthinking things, is pretty much going to put you in your way. You're going to struggle. I'll share a little bit about how I got into the business. I came out, I was a challenger and I got great results and I was ready to coach. I wanted to become a coach. I didn't have my coach was kind of a newer coach. So when I said, I want to become a coach, she was like, no, just stay what you're doing. She didn't have, an onboarding or a new coach training or a getting started right call or all these things that, we have all these amazing things. Maybe at the same time though, I really think it was, the best route for me to just jump in and figure it out. There was no overthinking. My goal was to help people, and that's all I wanted to do. I didn't know about Emerald. I didn't know about Success Club. Nobody was telling me about them, but they happened because I wasn't overthinking. I was focused on helping people. That's it. I felt amazing. I wanted to pass that gift along. So that's where my sights were, not on really anything else. Too often in the business, we think too much. There's a training call. If you wanted to, every night of the week. You could get on a call probably every night of the week. We all know somebody who's hosting a call. We have the wake up call. Your coaches have calls. We have our team call. So every single night of the week, there's a resource. There's a way to plug in. But the important thing here is application. You can go and gather, and I've done it. I've gotten myself in this place where I was like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I get confused and I go and gather more information, or maybe I want somebody else's training, or let me go peek over here and see what they're doing. But the truth of it is, if you just clear out all of that, and just plug into the daily vitals, stop overthinking, get out of your own way, the business is actually really, really easy. We can tend to get in our way with disbelief in ourselves, insecurities, looking left and right, comparing ourselves to this coach and that coach. There's always going to be somebody who's better. There's always going to be somebody who started before you, or after you, and has built a way bigger business. There's always going to be things like that. So comparison, overthinking, and things like that. So the way that I have overcome that, and let me tell you, I have to continue to do this. That is why I'm bringing this one up in particular, is even when I don't feel like doing what we need to do, I do it. I have the days where I don't feel like it. That's kind of why my workout didn't get done today. It's 9 o'clock. I'm actually a morning worker outer, whatever you want to call it. I didn't feel like it today, but I did it anyways. I have a group of challengers who are on fire, and they're inspiring me, and I'm letting them know that. So I did it even though I didn't feel like it. Let's see. So personal development, I'll read it even when I don't even want to sit down and read. I never was a reader before becoming a coach. And sure enough, today it was just a wonky day. I had maybe too much free time. So I sat down with my book, and it totally, totally inspired me. And I didn't want to sit there and do it. I wanted to keep mulling around whatever I was mulling, and the book, just inspired me. So that is how I quit overthinking. I get to action. I just get to the work, and that's what leads to it. The second thing that I want to cover, which is the bigger one here, is focusing on what you cannot control. So you have to decide what you can and focus on that and invest there. Recently I've just gotten honestly overwhelmed. I have a lot on my plate as a mom. I homeschool my kids, and that I don't know what is going on this year, but it is like on the rise. The projects, just the in-depth, of it. There's just so much involved with it, and the business is growing, and the team is growing. And then just trying to be a person of my own outside of that, have, my own interests, my marriage, my personal life. So I found myself just trying to control everything and really was controlling nothing. So just this week, I don't know what the trigger actually was, but I just decided, enough is enough. All in one day, I hired a house cleaner, somebody to come to my house once a week. And if you're going to say to me, that's a lot of money. Well, the hours that she's going to be here are hours that my family, we usually take Sundays and we spend hours as a family, and we do that. So those are hours that we are going to gain back as a family, and somebody else I can pay to do that. And it is worth it. I know it is. Part of me gets nervous. So yes, Clarabelle, I know. Thank you, friend. I know that's a big one for you, and I'm super excited. Another area is, my kid's school teaches up a grade or so. So my 6th grader is learning algebra, 8th grade, and it is a lot. Math was never my thing. I'll never proclaim to be the math rock star. I don't love it. So teaching it is a lot. It's taking a lot of time. He's getting, not the best grades on his tests. His teacher is telling me, this is a crucial time. We cannot see his grades slipping. We just can't. So for the last couple of weeks, I've been struggling there, and our homeschool days were going longer and longer. There were tears, there were distress. And I just said, again, enough is enough. I delegated. I found a math tutor to come to our house every Monday and Wednesday. We'll get all of our school done from 8 to 1:45, and she will be here from 1:45 till he needs it, focusing in on him. I can control that. That is what I can control. That is what I did. Another thing is, I'm not feeling like I'm having time with my husband. We're squeezing it in on random days, which is wonderful. We all have that flexibility and that freedom in our life as coaches. But at the same time, we would take a Thursday to date, and it would kind of, we're like structured people. So it's throwing off the rest of our week. So I hired somebody every Thursday night. She'll be here from 6 to 10. And I now have a weekly date with my husband. So that is something I can control. I started taking some of these personal things in my life back. So we can also control how much effort we give every day in our business. It's up to us, nobody else. We can control whether we get in our workout and drink our Shakeology and take care of ourselves. We have control over that. You have control whether you're going to read your personal development or not. You have control over recruiting new coaches. I know some of you might think you don't, but you actually do. If you're inviting 1 to 2 people a day, then it's just going to take you a lot longer. Invite 10 people a day. Get uncomfortable. The more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get. You do have control over your thought life. And I know that one might be hard for some people. If you have struggles with, negative thoughts or anything in your thought life. I remember years ago, it's been so long now, but that was a big struggle of mine. So I had to really, really learn how to take thoughts captive. I'm a believer. So I take them captive. I give them to God. So your thoughts control your emotions, which control your actions and your reactions. You do have control over all of that. So that has been an area for me lately that I'm really, really focused in. Some things, again, you don't have control over. You don't have control if your coaches don't rank advance. You don't have control if you're all setting goals and half get there and half don't. You just don't. You do have control if you add new coaches. You work with everybody the same. You run with the runners. I want to say this. I think as a team, it's a responsibility that as we're working together, we're holding up our end. We are better together. And I'm sure you know that. I'm sure your coach tells you that. And that is the honest truth, is that we are better together. So just a few more tips, because this book, you guys, I'll just show you guys what I'm reading right now. It is 13 things that mentally strong people don't do. It is bomb. If you guys need any tips on a good book, this one is amazing. So some things like I have found that are helpful, like I said, delegating some tasks and responsibilities to other people, asking for help when you need it. I'm terrible at this. So I'm getting better and better. I just don't. I just don't ask for help. I just take it. I just do it. I've been this way my whole life. So this is something I'm learning. Focus on solving problems that are within your control. Keep the emphasis on influencing and helping people rather than controlling them. So keep your emphasis on helping and influencing people. That's a big one. Thinking balanced thoughts about what is within your control and what isn't, and not relying on yourself for the entire outcome. So those are the things that I have recently struggled with, that I'm currently working through, and that I wanted to share the tips of how I'm getting through, my current struggles. Hopefully we'll have time at the end to ask questions, but I'm just going to go ahead and turn it right over to Amber.
Hey, I can't see any of you guys, so I'm like squinting because I don't have my glasses, but I can talk without seeing. So basically, I wanted to touch a little bit on kind of like what Jen said about even if you don't feel like it, you have a choice to still do it. And I think that's one of the main problems in this business, why we get stuck or why we get held up, is because it's always so funny to me that people will go to a job, and I did it. I went to the same job for 9 years that I hated, and I showed up every day and I did what I was supposed to do, even though I hated that job and it was doing nothing for me. So sometimes when I have those days in this business, I remind myself, Amber, you got up and went to a job that you hated for all that time, and you did those tasks that you didn't want to do. So if you can do that, you can do this. And you can do it on the days even when you don't feel like it, because it is going to be worth it in the end. So if that's something that resonates with you, hopefully that will help you, because that is something that I definitely tell myself sometimes, is like, girl, like, what are you doing? And we all have those moments. I think that's the point of this call. I get coaches constantly that tell me, they're having this going on or that going on, or this excuse or that excuse. And that's really what it is. Because I really believe that when we get hung up on just what's going on in our day-to-day life, and we start to use that as the reason why we can't build a business, it is an excuse. So don't let those things hold you back. Figure out a way that you can still do those 3 vital behaviors. And if it comes down to like you're going through a hard time or something is going on and all you can do is those 3 things, that's okay. Those 3 things are what moves your business forward. So if that's all that you can do some days, that's all right. So I want to encourage you with that as well. It really is that simple. One of my main setbacks that just happened recently, I've had hundreds. I've had hundreds that I could tell you about all the little things that have happened. I do want to touch on something for the newer coaches on this call. If you haven't read You Are a Badass Yet, she talks about this, and I think about this all the time. She says that when you start to do something different and you start to make changes in your life, and whether that's you being a new coach, or like for me, I'm making changes in my business as a seasoned coach, you'll start to see that things start to fall apart. And she says that happens on purpose. It's like the universe or God or whatever you want to call it or believe in. It's way of testing, like, are you for real? Are you really going to do this, or are you just saying you're going to do it? Are you going to do it no matter what? And here's a few like tests and trials to see if you're for real. And so I kind of think about those things as like, all right, I'm just being tested because on the other side of this is my breakthrough. So just remember that if it seems like shit's hitting the fan, it's because you're almost where you want to be. And I think everybody can attest to, like, when you're shooting for a big goal or you start making changes or doing something differently, stuff is going to fall apart, and that's okay. So my big struggle that just happened recently was the Success Club trip for the cruise in March. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm somebody who's extremely driven by travel. That was one of the main things that attracted me to this business, was the trips and the traveling. And that is the main reason for a lot of my financial goals, is because I want to be able to see the world and do things and go to a new place once a month and just explore with my family. And I have that adventurous spirit that really needs to be fed. And the thing about the trip was I earned it. It wasn't that I missed it. It wasn't that I missed a goal. It was I earned that trip. It was completely paid for. I could have gone on the trip for free. The only thing was, when I joined last year, by the time I signed up as a coach, even found out about the trip and registered for it, I was so far back on the wait list that I didn't get off the wait list in time. So that was really, really hard for me, just me personally wanting to travel. And that was so, so hard to know, watch all of these other coaches go on it when I knew, like, I worked all year and I actually did earn that trip. It was just a matter of how many people could go. And I missed it by, I don't even know how many, because I know I was like number 9,000 and something on the wait list, and people in the 7,000s got on the boat. So it was just so close, and it was really, really hard for me. But I'll tell you this, over the last year, one of the main things that I've learned is that everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to. And even if you can't see it in the moment, it will come out eventually. And I think when you go through those hard things and you face those hard things, knowing that everything that happens to you happens for the greatest good, and you believe that and you hold on to that, you know that somewhere there's a silver lining to what's going on. So for me, it was, I had to swallow that and I had to move past it. And then I realized my daughter's second birthday I would have missed it if I would have gone on that trip. It was the next day after they set sail. And if I would have been there, we wouldn't have taken the kids and I would have missed her second birthday. So instead I got to, because of what I earned with Beachbody, go on a vacation for 3 days with my family, have her birthday with her, spend that time with her. And it was just exactly, it happened how it was supposed to. So I couldn't see that in the beginning, and it was really, really tough for me. But I realize now that it all happened like it was supposed to. And everything that's happened to me in this business, I can honestly look back and say, okay, that happened to me because I have a coach now that needs to hear how I got through it, or, set me up for something better. So I just want to encourage you guys with that, and write that down if you have to. I look at that daily. I have it on my computer. Everything that happens to me happens for the greatest good. And that's just really encouraging when people are telling you no, or you miss a goal or anything like that. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys too. And last thing, I wanted to show you guys this book, The Desire Map. This is the current one I'm reading. I'm big on personal development. This is so good, but it's a guide to creating goals with soul. And it talks about creating goals based on how you want to feel, not what you actually want to attain. So it's really good. It's really, really good if you guys haven't gotten it yet. So that's it for me.
Can you guys hear me? We're good? Okay. So I guess I'm up. Yeah, I think so. Well, Amber, I think Amber and Jen both hit on some really, really good points, especially with, everything happening for a reason the way that it does. I know that's happened to me countless times in my business where something falls apart and you think it's the end of the world, but then you realize it was really for the best. So as far as talking about overcoming struggles and something difficult in my business that I've had to overcome, I was a lot like Jen in the fact that when I started, my sponsoring coach was also just starting. So I, just like she was saying, I didn't really have that, a lot of guidance as far as things go, because we were learning together at that point. So that really motivated me to just immerse myself into the business. And if I had a question, I went and I found the answer to it. So my team knows, and Clarabelle always teases me about it, but one of my favorite answers when a coach asks a question is look it up, look in the FAQs, find a video. And, but it does make them more self-reliant. And what I found is that it helps to build strong coaches as well. So the thing that I've had to overcome, besides having to, check the FAQ, yep, that's my response to most things. But one thing that I've really had to overcome is this whole idea of people achieving goals because I want them to achieve it. And I think that can be really hard as a coach who's looking to rank advance, because your rank advancement is based on other people achieving goals. But if I set that goal for you, that doesn't make you want to earn it. That doesn't make you want to achieve it. You have to be the one to set that goal for yourself. So thinking about controlling the controllables. I can't make someone go emerald. I can't make someone go diamond. But what I can do is I can give them the tools. I can show them where to go to find the best videos and help. I can put them in trainings. And I can continue to recruit. I think a lot of times as newer coaches or, even seasoned coaches, we get a hold of someone who's, really wanting to run, and you're like, yes, this is my next diamond. They're going to make it. And you forget that you have to still keep moving forward, and you have to still keep recruiting new people, because that person, you don't know what's going to happen. They might have a death in the family tomorrow and they decide to cancel Beachbody altogether. You don't know what's going to happen. So the thing that you can control is how many people you're adding to your team each month, how many trainings you're getting them plugged into, how many times you're checking in with them to make sure they have what they need, how many times you're encouraging them and showing them different tips and tricks to hit Success Club, to find coaches of their own. That's what you can control. I can't count how many times I've had someone come to me and say, okay, that baby is adorable. Is that Michelle's? Oh my gosh, so cute. Sorry, I'm distracted. But I can't tell you how many times I've had someone come to me and say, okay, I want to build a business. I'm a business builder. What do I need to do? Give me everything. And nothing happens, right? Like they just decide, oh, you have to actually work? Never mind. I thought people just signed up. So when they see that work part, it's kind of like, ooh, never mind. And then you get people, and actually Clarabelle, I keep using her as an example, but she's one of my examples of this. She didn't want to sign up as a coach. I basically had to convince her that she would save $15 a month. And once I showed her that she could save $15, she was like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Yeah, exactly. I thought you just had to post on Facebook. Yeah, that's not quite how it works. So once I showed Clarabelle that she could save $15 a month, she signed up as a coach. And I swear, I thought she was not going to do anything. It was so hard to convince her even to sign up as a coach. And she messaged me 2 days later and was like, I think I can do this. And just took off. And she's hit Success Club every month. She went emerald quickly. She's working on that diamond. And, she's just no, I got this. I'm good at this. And I've had a couple people do that who you think, oh, they're just in it for the discount. And suddenly they're a huge business builder. So I tell people, don't worry about where you place people, what leg people go on. Because everyone's like, oh, well, this person says they're going to be a business builder, so I should put them on this leg. It doesn't matter. People talk a lot, and actions are rare. So don't worry about what people say. Because what I found is no matter where you put them, it works out. I've had people I put because I thought they're going to be a business builder and their discount, but you know what? I needed that discount coach on that leg, and I didn't know it, but that's the spot they filled for me. I've had people who said they were in it for the discount and became big builders, and it's grown my business. So don't worry about where to place people, how to place them. You'll just stress yourself out and lose your mind. Put them where you need them at the time, and I promise you it'll work out. So control the controllables. You can't set goals for people. You can't make them achieve things, but you can encourage them. You can support them. You can get them in trainings, and you can continually add to your downline. And that's the biggest thing that you can do to ensure long-term success is keep adding those coaches each month. Plus, I know that invigorates me when I have new coaches, because you get those coaches who they want to come to you. They want info, and it kind of gets you excited again. It gets you back in the game. And that's what you really need to keep going, is you need that spark and that fire. So look for those new people. So I think that's all I was going to cover. So I don't know. Hope that was helpful.
All right, I think I'm next. I'm on my phone, so it's a little weird. So if you see me like bouncing around, that's why. My biggest struggle that I've had in this business has been time and time again, over and over. It's been consistency. And the reason behind it probably isn't what you think. So everyone here has pretty much talked about the business side of things, and I want to kind of delve into the personal side, because I'm the kind of person when something happens in my personal life, whether it be, a failed relationship or, just financial struggles or anything, it's just human nature for me to kind of back off and like hide, just to go to my room, shut down and kind of reboot. But when I do that, it makes me have to restart my business kind of over and over and over. So when you do that, it's human nature, but you're having to restart over and over and over. So now I've kind of, I've been kind of smart about it. So I have posts saved up for when something does happen and I want to just take a day to get my mind right. I have posts that I can post. So I'm not being fake by recreating something. It's already there. So I went through, since I started, I had an engagement that was broken. I've had issues with friendships. I've had, school struggles, family struggles, things that everyone goes through, deaths of loved ones. Everyone goes through this stuff. And it's easy to just quit, take time off, I'll start again next week. And it's easier to just keep doing what you need to do than to stop and start. I did a video for my team a couple weeks ago, and I couldn't find the quote for tonight, but it was something along the lines of, you can have two people side by side that start the same time, and you can have one that sprints and stops, and then you can have one like the turtle that's just chugging along, and they're going to end up achieving more success because they're still showing up every day, kind of like the tortoise and the hare. So like Amber said, if all you can do each day is a 3 vital behavior, so that's the bare minimum that you can do it. If you can do 10 invites, great. But if you can only do, 3 or 4 that day because you have, whatever's going on in your life, do it. I have in my computer, on my notes, I have like pre-made posts, whether it be about the business or just, a joke or something, so that I'm posting every day regardless. Because me personally, like, I am an emotional person. So if I'm sad, I'm not going to, go and find something funny. I'm just not going to be able to do it. But if I have it saved on my computer, I can just post it. And, people are seeing, because the way the algorithms are, if you're not posting, when you do post, people aren't going to see it because you haven't been posting. So it's kind of sneaky, but you have to post whether you feel like it or not. So my thing is, if you're having a bad day, take the day off, but also be posting, because if you don't, then you're going to be in the same things I have where you're restarting over and over and over. And it's better to just stay consistent and chug along. So I hope that was somewhat beneficial. But I'll kick it over to Ashley. She's still here.
I don't think so.
What? She got kicked out. She's trying to get back on. She's texting me.
Okay. I was just taking my
phone.
Okay.
So.
I was just taking my phone, but my phone is dead, so it's off. Oh my gosh, you guys, great tips. I mean, I'm sure she'll get back on, but so we've covered don't overthink, just do. Control what you can. So the controllables, know that everything works out for the greater good. It's not always going to work out how we want to or how we would like, but it always does work out. And show up every day, or in other words, consistency is key, as like Sam would say. Life does happen. We do have days where we don't feel it. So having those stored posts and those things to just keep things going. So consistency truly is key. Does anybody have any questions? Those are such great tips. We'll just give a few minutes for Ashley to see if she can try to get on, but we'll answer any questions if you guys have any. This is the perfect time. So take advantage of it. I know you do. I know they're burning. I can see them in your faces.
We don't bite.
Yeah, I know. No questions, no feedback.
What about, has anybody on here been struggling with something that they want help with? Because this is kind of what the call is about. Tell us what you've been struggling with and see if we can give you some tips for yours.
I just unmuted. Can you hear me? It's
Yes.
Summer.
Yeah.
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. I've kind of been struggling with like invites and having enough like templates stored aside to get these conversations going different ways, because that's just something that I've been slacking on the most, I think. And then as far as postings, I feel better about that and staying consistent with that. But yeah, the invites. And I have found examples that you guys have given me and I've printed them off and I've saved them. I have to get better with that. That's my thing. I just wanted to share that.
I feel like in the beginning, as a new coach, the best way, the best response that you'll get to invites is to truly type it out as you talk with the excitement about what you're doing. Don't word vomit. Don't like throw it all out there. But if you were going to position this opportunity to your best friend, what would you say? You'd say, "Hey girl, I'm so excited about this. I thought of you. I just wanted to see if you wanted more information. I'm starting a challenge group," whatever. But you're going to do it with excitement and in your own words. And you don't have to change it every time. Send out those for a month and see how it goes. And then maybe have your coach look at those conversations with you. And if you're not helping anyone, see where you can tweak it. But I don't think you have to have hundreds of things ready or change it every message. Just really simplify it. And the main thing is just do it. Send the invites consistently and see how they turn out,
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty much my exact answer. So just be you, do you, sound like you. That is where that is where I find my best coaches, because it wasn't a script. It wasn't sounding like something that's not me. It actually does sound like me. I genuinely was interested in them as a person. And so it was just the whole thing was completely genuine versus, a typed
You're right. Okay.
Yeah. So you got this. And like she said, just do it. And guess what? You're going to word vomit sometimes. You're going to say that.
I do. I feel like I am. Yeah. Okay.
It happens. We've all been there, but the more you do it, the more you get comfortable, and it just gets easier and easier the more that you do it.
I cringe at my first messages that I sent out. Yeah. When I get a response from somebody now, I'm like, oh my God, why did I send them that? But I needed to do that. And some of them, I just had somebody in October, this happened, and I sent them one of those horrible messages in March, and it took them a long time to finally message me back. Okay. But they watched that whole time, and I got better too. So by the time I talked to them, I was prepared a little bit better. So just know, nothing is a failure. They're all just seeds. And even if they don't bloom right now because you've word vomited, it's not a lost cause. Just be you, and it will all work out.
Yep.
I did want to add one thing about the scripts. I love using scripts, but like they were saying, I've made them, my own. So they sound like me. But the one thing that I found was I didn't start using them until I was a little bit further along in the business, because I kind of got a feel for how conversation usually went. And then I made a template of like standard answers that I would see that I knew this question was coming. So instead of me typing out what the heck the 21-day fix is, I typed it out one time, and then I just copy and paste that, and I'll edit certain parts when needed to fit the conversation. So like if they said that they know that, you know, they go to Starbucks a lot, so I'll add a little thing in there about Starbucks, you know, and make it kind of personal, but it's the same general answers to the same, you know, 6 questions that I know I'm going to answer in a conversation. But it did take time to figure out what those questions were.
Yeah, like I used to get the question all the time, like, do you actually get a DVD? Because I wasn't explaining like you get the workouts on DVD. So I had to like put, you know, add in there to my little copy and paste thing that it is workouts on DVD.
Yeah, stuff like that. You end up realizing like, and it was nice too, because I could tweak it so that I had everything in there. So I knew everyone was getting the same information. Yeah. I was telling everyone about the DVDs, everyone about the containers, everyone about Shakeology, everyone about the on-demand, you know, like I had it all in there. So I knew that I didn't have to go back and go, oh crap, did I tell them? You know, all.
I know somebody here that's getting the price objection a lot. Does anybody have something great to add for that one? I mean, that's what she's getting over and over and over. So I would like some new.
Number one thing I would ask is, what are you getting enough out of the other person before you give the price? That is, I hardly ever get a price objection, and that's because I ask the same 3 questions. What piqued your interest about the product? That helps them tell me a little bit about why they wanted to start. What are their current goals right now as far as weight loss or gain or tone, whatever, and what are their eating habits like? And in the eating habits question, I also asked specifically, do you struggle with cravings? Because then I can sell Shakeology, because most people say sugar, salt, or something else. And so when you get all of that out of them, you didn't tell them that. They told you, I have this, this, and this, and then you give them the product as a solution to all of that, the price makes sense because you just solved all their problems. So if you're getting the price objection over and over and over again, then you need to make sure that you are giving them enough value, that this is specifically going to help them. It's not just that you're selling a product to everyone.
Yep.
That's great. Yeah, that's exactly like adding in those specific ways that it's going to help. So like I have one girl who, she said, I go to Starbucks every morning and I get a large latte and a chocolate croissant, you know, so I,
$8.
right away, I was like, dude,
that's $8. So you know,
I can cut that price in half and help you lose weight. So, but like if I hadn't have asked her, like Amber said, what do you eat? Like I just put out there, what do you eat on a daily basis? What does a daily food log look like for you? And sometimes you get people who go, oh, I eat celery and salad. And you're like, liar. You're such a liar. You wouldn't be asking me for help if that's what you ate all day. So you just, you know, you kind of work with what they give you, but most people will be honest and tell you straight up they eat crap. Yep. And then you can show them exactly how you can help them.
Yep. Awesome.
Or that they don't eat. My neighbor, I helped her she lost 30 pounds in 21 days. And the problem was she wasn't eating. She was not eating all day long and then just eating a big dinner after dark. And she thought, like, I'm only eating once a day. Why can't I lose weight? So you really do have to know people specifically what their problem is. Not everybody is different. You're going to get so many answers that you're like, whoa, okay. Like, you know, so I think it is important to definitely dive into that. And it takes some time, you guys. Like, it does take some time in those messages to really find out. But once you know that, if they don't commit right away, another thing, when you follow up, you can remind them. You have that cruise that you're going on. I just wanted to check in with you. You said you wanted to lose 10 pounds. I really want to help you do that. So you need to know that stuff, not only for the price, but also to follow up.
What do you do if somebody just comes to you and literally sends you a message, how much is Shakeology? I want to try it. Like, I don't know how to like avoid the question without looking like I'm avoiding the question to like try to be, I don't know, because I'm so new to it, but like literally that's, everybody does that. And I'm like, I don't know what to do.
I say, I have like a script for that because I get that a lot too. And I say, I'm so excited you're interested. What piqued your interest about it? Or I'm so excited to share with you about Shakeology. What piqued your interest? And that makes you take control of the conversation and you find out why they need it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Or I'll even say like,
but we'll see.
cost depends on, I'll say like, it's like the same thing Amber's saying, like, oh, I'm so excited to hear from you. I'd love to tell you more information. The cost really depends on what all you need. So I can help you more by knowing what you're looking for, you know? And so the same kind of idea of like taking control of the conversation and saying, and not even like ignoring the question, but putting it out there saying, I can't tell you the price until I know what all you need from me. And then we can get a price together. Yeah, and then I'm talking.
And I just don't want to look like I'm avoiding the question as if it's like some secretive, like, I don't know.
Right.
Well, they can look it up online.
That's right. It's not a secret.
That's true, but they're most of the time they don't feel like it. They just want me to answer. You know, like when I ask you, like, Shannon, I don't know what to do. Like I just ask you because I'm like, I don't know where to find the answer. Like,
yep. And I was telling, who was I telling? I was like, yep, you know, my new coaches, they get a few week grace period. And then my standard answer is going to be check the FAQs, check the FAQs. So get ready.
Almost up, but I don't know. I didn't try for like the first month at all. I was just like, whatever. I just like getting $15 off. Mm-hmm. But then one person asked me about it and then I made a sale and I was like, oh, this was fun. Like I talked to her and anyway.
Well, and you have to think about it too. Like there's so many different coaches out there that they might ask two or three different people like, hey, what is this? Hey, what is that? And I feel like the person that they're going to sign up with is the one that cared enough to actually find out what they needed. Not the one that was like, oh, well, a challenge pack is this and it's that and it's this, and here's the price. Because our job really is to actually truly care about people first. So to me, I don't feel like I'm avoiding the question. I feel like I'm caring about them.
Right. Yeah. I guess I've never like done this before. So I'm kind of like, I mean, I'm a preschool teacher, so this is like totally different. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. So
I agree.
Wow, that's awesome. And just speak with authority. Speak like you do know, really. So just like the girl said, really speak like you do know. Ask the questions because it is our job. And I'm the same way. I would go with the person that wanted to know, not just fed me the information. The person that really dug deep with me, I wouldn't find it offensive. I would be like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is what I struggle. This. So speak with authority, and that's how they're going to see you.
And if you don't know the answer, especially as a new coach, I would straight up tell, like, my whole thing is I always want to be honest with my customers. I don't ever want them to feel like I'm being shady with them. So if they ask me a question and I don't know the answer, I straight up say, like, that's a really good question. I've never had anyone ask me that. Let me go ask a few coaches and I'll get back to you. And they really, every time I've done that, people have been really thankful because I come back with extra information. And they're like, wow, thank you so much for looking into that. You know, and like Amber was saying, they're going to connect with the person who they feel like really cares about them. I even had a coach tell me, he was like, it was between you and this other girl that I was going to sign up with. He's like, but you actually took time to talk to me and answer all my questions, where she kind of blew me off. Hi, Dee.
Hey, Dee.
So, you know, that was the difference for him, was that he felt like I'd actually respond and I actually cared about talking to him. I was like, oh, it's $130. Do you want to order?
Yeah.
Right.
I teach my coaches that, you know, that it's so important to ask those questions. But I do also want you guys to know, for those of you who aren't doing that or are going to start implementing that, sometimes because the people, it's normally somebody that you don't really know. Sometimes when you start to ask those questions, some people will shut down, okay? So they might not answer you. But I want to encourage you that if you start asking, like, what are your current goals? How are your eating habits? And the person stops responding, wait a few days and send a message just saying, hey, I'm really excited to continue our conversation. Let me know if you have any other questions, or when is a good time to talk. And just kind of be like that gentle reminder that you really want to give them the information, but you're waiting to hear back those answers. because I do get that sometimes, but I just normally follow up and then the conversation continues. So don't just be like, oh, they didn't want to answer my questions. Like I can't talk to them anymore. You can always be that gentle reminder of like, hey, I'm still here when you're ready to talk. So that does happen sometimes too. I just want you guys to be aware of that.
I actually just wanted to share. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm wearing my daughter's Frozen headphones.
Nice.
On your toes earlier. I love that.
Oh, you saw that? I thought all you could see was me.
Oh my word, yes, we saw that.
So I just wanted to add on that I have just recently started saying when people aren't responding, I say, hey, I don't want to bug you, but I just wanted to make sure that you haven't forgotten about your goals, because it's not just like, hey, following up, and they're like, oh, she's following up again. It's like, oh my God, she's like, we have them thinking again about what they contacted us to begin with for.
Yeah.
Right. It's been working really well.
Love that.
Me too. Awesome. Any other struggles, questions, thoughts? No? Awesome. Well, this was so fun. This was such a great way to break back in and see you guys and hang out. I really just want to encourage you. You don't have to have it all together to show up. I know some people, have had long days, and I just get all these messages about why they can't. And trust me, I get it. Sometimes you legitimately just cannot. But at the same time, I want us to feel comfortable just showing up and just asking the questions. If you just don't know, sometimes I can guarantee you all the time somebody else is going to benefit. So everything that was shared tonight, somebody else benefited from it. I did too. So thank you guys so much. Tuesday nights at 9, we have some great calls lined up in the next few weeks. So, tag your coaches, bring your new coaches, especially brand new coaches. It's such a great way for them to get to know all of us and become part of this. So thank you guys so much. If you have nothing else to share, then I'll say good night. All right. Oh yeah, sure. Let me get a photo.
Oh yeah.
Hot Mess Express over here, but yes, I'll get one.
Thank you.
Yes, and we missed like 5 or 6 people that fell off, but I thought that my thing was going to shut off and it didn't. So yay, we had more time. All right, good night, guys. See you.
Good night. Thanks, guys.
Good night.